Welcome this morning to the Knicks in 10. We'll be talking about a whole bevy of stats and facts and advanced stacks and everything. Man, we're going to answer some questions. Is OG Anunoby still the plus minus guy? Who really has the best stats on the team between Towns and Brunson? Is the Knick bench a problem? How are the team performing when compared to last year? We'll answer these questions and more on this morning's show, The Knicks in 10. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the Knicks in 10 show. Sam, I see you early in the building. Salute to all the morning people. I'm not a morning person. I tried to get here at 8, but hey, couldn't get here, but I'm here now. So salute to me, y'all. I didn't even hook the soundboard up. I'm going to do that in the background, but I hope you guys had a great morning. Last night was a rough game. But the good news, we're not here to talk about last night's game. We're here to talk about the last 10 games, which would be games 31 through 40. So last night does not count. There's some interesting numbers here. I think that can kind of ease our concerns. Right now the Knicks are kind of in a rough patch. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. We had a stretch where we lost 3 games in a row, but then we had a stretch where we won, 4 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So this was an up and down roller coaster ride. It's like I guess in the stock world they would say this is turbulence, and yeah, this is some turbulence, or they would say volatile. There you go. The market is volatile. By the way, salute to Sam in the building early. He says he's not 100% live. Sam, I don't think I'm 100% live too, but guess what? We will be rocking out. I got my water and my Captain 11 mug. By the way, if you like any of these hats that you see scrolling on the bottom right corner, you can check out thisweekinsidethenix.com, the website that's listed here. Click on discounted hats and you'll be able to get some of these hats. So in the meantime, while I'm setting up my soundboard, how you guys doing this morning? I had a link. I know you guys may have seen there's been some recent talks about trade possibilities and things of that nature. I don't know what the Knicks plan on doing, but man, hopefully it's a move that's not going to compromise us. We talked about this yesterday too. Like we said that if they do make a move, we don't want to do nothing to really jeopardize the team. So that's just what I'm hopeful for. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to, we did the podcast This Week Inside the Knicks. You can go to thisweekinsidethenix.com as well to see the write up. As I said, the soundboard. I like to have my soundboard. I can't rock out without the soundboard. So yeah, salute to you guys, man. Now I'm gonna jump into it. Sorry to give the caveat. We're only talking about games 31 through 40, so we're gonna start with the Orlando Magic game. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put this up on the screen as well so you guys can see. So we're gonna start with the 10-game snapshot. All right. So that's the show schedule. I'm gonna get into that. I did update the show schedule too. We're gonna get into that. So this is the 10-game snapshot, right? I'm comparing 3 different snapshots. So I'm comparing the 10 games prior to the 10 games we're talking about, which is games 21 through 30. Remember, this is when we did the last Knick in 10 show. If you guys were here, salute to you if you guys were here. We were 8-2, right? And that was probably the best stretch of the season when you're looking at it from 10 games after 10 games after 10 games. Of course, the 9-game winning streak, that would be the best stretch. But that's not how we're tracking the season. We're tracking it via every 10 games, okay? And then we got the 31 through 40 games from the prior season, 23-24. So as you guys can see, I'll start here. So this is last year. Last year, we didn't have any bad losses during this 10-game stretch. Remember, this is when we got OG Anunoby. This Minnesota game, when we beat them that game. I remember I was going to my cousin's house. That was a great day. We had a little New Year's brunch, and I was bragging, yeah, the Knicks is going to be this, that, and the third, and we beat Minnesota. That was great. We also beat Philadelphia. We smacked Philadelphia, who turned out to be a rival we saw in the playoffs. So, but as you see, we still went 6-4 in that stretch. A lot of people don't realize it that there was a lot of turbulence right before we got OG Anunoby, and we still lost 2 games in the midst of that stretch. I don't think Brunson played the Dallas game, or no, one of these guys didn't play the one of these games. I think it was Orlando. They didn't play. Brunson didn't play, so it doesn't matter. That's last year. This was the prior stretch. Like I said, the 8-2. We only had the one bad loss to Detroit, and we lost to Detroit last night. Oh Lord. The revenge tour for the Knicks has not gone well in 2025. But we'll get to that. As you can see, we have 4 good wins, though. Orlando, twice, Minnesota, San Antonio. The reason why Orlando is a good win is because they're a plus 500 team. So when you guys see good wins on here, as we go through this, I'm saying that these guys are good wins because these are plus 500 teams. That's all I'm saying. That's all it means, all right? Nothing more to it. Now, I'm going to jump into our last 10-game stretch. So we're going to be talking about today between Friday the 27th, which is the Orlando game, right, all the way to the Milwaukee game. So we're not talking about Detroit last night, right? Let's strike that from the memory. It didn't happen. It didn't exist. We're only talking about these games here. So during this stretch, we had 2 good wins, 2 bad losses, one against Orlando because they're a plus 500 team. That's all a good win means. And a bad loss is against teams that's sub 500. So Chicago and, well, Orlando wasn't bad. Well, I got Orlando as bad here. Listen, guys, I'm a vampire up in the morning. Excuse that. No, Orlando, this was not a bad loss, right? I guess I probably marked it bad because they didn't have their guys. But no, they're still a plus 500 team, and they're still holding their rank. So I'm not going to, mark them as a bad team. So technically, we only had 1 bad loss. Okay. Now we are playing against better opponents, right? Going forward. And it kind of started with this Oklahoma City stretch. Let me see what Sam's saying. Compare win-loss versus sub 500 teams on home and the road, just to be curious. Okay. That's a good point. I didn't do that. I'm gonna make note to do that next time, Sam. That's a good stat to track. Maybe we could do it too. I might could do it because I do keep track of win loss. I'm a prepare that for you, Sam. Win loss above 500 teams at home. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because that's actually a good metric. I will say this, and I'm gonna jump into the standing stats right now. So this is like a snapshot that I took, a screenshot that I took immediately after the game or the night of the game where the Knicks beat Milwaukee. And so because I wanted to keep it frozen in time, right? Because, things are moving. I don't want it to, hold on, let me adjust it so you guys can see it. I wanted to maintain the exact standings from when the Knicks hit 40 games, right? Because we're going to be talking about games 31 through 40 and tracking all the stats up until this point, right? So the Knicks, 26-14, better than last year, right? Last year at this time, we were 23-17. So, you got to give the boys some credit for improving on that. I mean, yes, it's been a rough stretch, but New York City, salute to the boys. That's really what I'm concerned about. If you ask me, I'm concerned about how are we doing compared to last year, because what got Coach Tibbs his extension was the fact that this team consistently and continually has been improving every single year, right? Except for the one year we didn't go to the playoffs. But besides that year, if you take that year out the picture, we've been winning more games, going further in the playoffs, whether it's 1 or 2 more games in a series like the year prior to last, we went to the second round against Miami, lost in 6 games. Last year, we went to 7 games in the second round. So this team has been showing signs of improvement each and every year. So I'm sorry, check that, 24-17 last year. So we still +2 in wins. So 24-17, 26 and 24, improvement. right? Could the record have been better? Of course. Of course. But we're going to jump into some of these standing stats, y'all. Now, Sam, what I do have is, oh, by the way, salute to Nostalgia Nick, Early Bird. Look, guys, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I got me my Captain 11 mug, man. I'm trying. I'm a vampire, but I had to do this early show because I don't want this material to linger because, it's 10 games and I want to keep track of that. Now, what I do have, Sam, is that against below sub 500 teams, and you know what? I don't like to do this normally. Maybe I'll do it just so you guys can see what I'm actually reading. Make it a little bigger for you guys. Make this bigger. So I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go through some stats. All right. So we're going to start with these standing stats and make sure you guys can see it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we're going to start with these standing stats. Right now, like I said, this is for the last 10 games prior to Detroit. Right. So we're covering 30 games, 31 through 31 through 40. Why is this not updated? Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties. Give me a second. Oh, maybe I can show. Okay. I tried. But look, just follow what I'm saying. Because my standing stats over there is not updated. And I got it updated over here. So when we play against teams that are above 500 or below, let's start below 500. When we play against teams below 500, right, we're currently 16-5, right? And salute to the boys. 16-5 is a great record. Honestly, I would love from the boys to not lose another game to a sub 500 team. Like if we could do that, that would be incredible. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how possible that is. The reason why I say that is because last season, I believe we were 29-5 against sub 500 teams. So we didn't lose more than 5 games, right? And so up to this point, last year, I have it written down somewhere. Last year, up until this point in terms of playing against sub 500 teams. One second, y'all. Here's my notes at. Listen, man, you guys could tell I'm trying in the early morning, but we rocking out. I don't know where my paper is. My other stat paper. But basically, I just want to fact check. I believe we were 29-5 last year against sub 500 teams. That's something that we have. Oh yeah, on the floor, of course. So yeah, I think that we need to continue. Up until this point, last year we were 14-1 against below 5. I mean, completely dominant against sub 500 teams. But you see, 14-1. Right, 16-5. We're playing against more soft touches this year. So it's hard to say right now that this team is still better than last year's team. I mean, we're performing better. There's no debate there. There's no debate there. We're performing better than we did last year. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still working to get this stuff on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can get my Word open. Let me jump out of research mode right quick. Yeah, I'm going to get this on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because I don't like to just read and you guys can't see. 2 seconds. So, yeah, it's hard to say if this team is better than last year's team. I'm going to keep it real. Last year's team had a tougher stretch earlier on and performed under, 2 games behind this team. Right? So, if you gave this team last year's early grind, I'm talking about the Milwaukee's, right? Like I'm top tier teams, facing more top tier teams. Remember, we played Milwaukee like 3 times before halfway throughout the season. We played Boston at least twice, right? So we had more tough games against teams last year. So I'm trying to be fair. I'm wondering if this team would have performed like last year's team. I don't know. I don't know if I could say that with confidence. Because last year's team, there's no way we could actually test it, right? But last year's team was special, man. I mean, they really overperformed. By the way, I'm getting ready to show you guys want to make it so you guys can see this as I go over the stats, and I'll go back and forth between the standing stats. So So this is what I'm reading right now. I'm starting with these 6. Okay, so I got it on the screen. You see, below 500 teams, games 31 through 40, 16-5. Games 21 through 30, 12-4. Right? Games 11 through 20, 8-3. So we've been dominant against sub 500 team, but not as dominant as we was last year. Up until this point, we only had 1 loss. Now, granted, we played less of them and played more tougher teams last year, right? That stretch was crazy. So that's why I can't really say we're better. But I will say that we are, tracking at a better rate. We're winning more games, and that's all I want. That's all I want. I want us to show that at least on the record books, New York City, salute to the boys, that we're doing better. Contrary here, you see above 500 teams. Above 500 teams was a struggle for us last year, right? So last year, as you can see, the last stretch of 31 to 40 games, you can see we're 10-9 against sub 500 teams. Now, quick caveat. As I talk about above 500 versus sub 500, and Sam, I'll make sure going forward that I will track the away versus home. I'm gonna show you in a second why I don't really think it's a difference, but I will do that. I'll be more conscientious of that in the future. Now, how I track these stats is I don't change the ranking of the loss in terms of whether it's above a 500 or below. If the team improves, I personally do not care. I don't care if the team gets better, because that's what happens. That's how Clutch Points and some of these other sites, they might have this record a little skewed. You might see 10-9 the other way, or 9-10 against above 500 teams, right? I don't change it. So like if we play against the Pacers early in the year, perfect example, we played the Pacers like our 3rd game, right? They were like 1-1 or 2-1 or something like that, right? So we wind up beating them. That to me is a above 500 win. Later on in the season, when we played against the Pacers, they were a sub 500 team. So I don't change it. I'm not going to say, oh well, the Pacers are now above 500 teams, so that first win and the second win or loss goes to above. No, I don't do that. I keep it the way it is. So that's why my standings for these 2 are going to be different from everybody else's. I actually track it the way it should be tracked, which is it doesn't change. If you were a sub 500 team like Philadelphia, right, they might get up to 500 or above 500. Do now the wins that we get against them, does that change? It shouldn't change. So that's how I'm keeping track of the stats. It's a statute for me, all right? If you were a sub 500 team and I beat you, I'm not changing it later. So that's how I got to these numbers. So we're 10-9 against above 500 teams during this stretch. Well, not during the stretch. That's how we are. That's our stats. That's what I'm tracking throughout the season. Okay. When we were in the stretch of games 21 through 30, we were 8-6, 8-6, and games 11 through 20, 4-5. So we've improved. Well, I mean 8-6. Well, you can't really say we improved on 8-6 to 10-9. But we maintained an above 500 record against above 500 teams. Last year, during let me see if I could update it on the fly. Last year against above 500 teams, we were at this period in time up to the 40 game mark. Let me see, 1, 2. Looks like we were 10 and yeah, we were 10-16. Yeah, 10 and 14. So last year it was a struggle, but we played a lot more above 500 teams. But us being plus above this mark here to me is just very important, right? Because we actually finished the season last year below 500 against above 500 teams. So these first 2 standing tests are very important. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat. Hopefully you guys, it flows better when you guys can see what I'm talking about, and I'll put it up on the screen. Let me see what you guys talking about. Oh, thank you, Nostalgic Nick. I salute to you, brother. Yeah, I work hard, man, on this channel, and trust me, I'm getting ready to redo everything. So no more green screen going forward. I repeat, no more green screen going forward. I'm just waiting for some more of the materials to come. So yeah, I'm working hard to really build this channel and make this platform even more brighter or professional. Let me see what you guys saying. Sam says, on Bright City Lights shine on young stars. We're third in the East and fifth in the league. That's still, yo, you know what, Sam? This is why I'm not even caring about whether or not we're better this year than last year as a team, right? Because to be honest, we're doing good. Like we're doing a fantastic job. As I turn my mic down a little bit, felt like I was speaking, but yeah, I think that we're doing a pretty good job overall. You know, given the circumstance that we're in. You know, we're a brand new team, one of the newest teams in the East. Sorry, my phone going crazy. One of the brand new teams in the East, and it's going to be some growing pains. And people don't want to necessarily acknowledge that because they think, oh, you make a trade, you automatically, you know, should win the championship, and it don't work that way. It don't work that way. It takes time and grind. Let me see what else you got. Someone in the chat. If we were more cohesive, we'd be nearly unstoppable. That's a fact. And I'm gonna show you the offense in a second, but that's a fact. And I think that's gonna come with time, right? We're a brand new team. Let me see. How 1-1 is exactly 500. Okay, so I'm tracking. I'm tracking. Okay, good point. Knicks 100. Let me clear that up too. So for me, I track 500. If you're 500 and above, good point. Good point. So maybe I should say 500 and above instead of above 500 teams. But most teams, you rarely come against teams that are 500. Like most teams are either above or below. So I just didn't want to be so technical. But okay, yeah, 1-on-1 Knicks 100. I count that as 500 and above, okay? Just to be clear for, you know, I got to be clear for Knicks 100. Salute the Knicks 100, keeping me on my toes. So it's 500 and below or below, no, it's below 500 and 500 and above, okay? Sam says when Cat rests, there's a void at the 5. Big facts. Big, and what we know, as you can see when I go over the standing stacks, I mean, the some of the advanced stats, Karl-Anthony Towns plays 100% of the 5. He's never played power forward yet. Let me see. They need to play together. Most of the offense is ISO. I agree. And I'm going to show you why they need to play more together. It's to our benefit. It's not about above or under 500. We mainly beat the missing teams missing key players. Knicks 100. Cleveland does the same thing. Like I said, I stopped doing that. I stopped going there with the players, because then you could just invalidate all of Cleveland's wins. Cleveland has not beat a team that's healthy and is above 500. Every team they've beaten, they all had injuries, and you can make an excuse every time. Whether it's Boston, they didn't have Jaylen Brown. Whether it's Denver, they didn't have Aaron Gordon. You could go through the list of the teams they beat. OKC, they didn't have Chet Holmgren. I don't want to make a big deal about that anymore at this point in the season. At this point in the season, if you don't have your health together, that's your fault. I have no sympathy, Knicks 100. But salute to you, Knicks 100. I like that. Keep me on my toes. So when I say above 500, I'm saying 500 and above. Just to be clear, okay? And I'm not changing it when a team goes sub 500. I don't believe. I think that your record is what it is at the time I played you. Let me see. Knicks 100 says, when your stars are having a great game and the Wizards take you over to overtime is a concern. The other day, who I watched go to overtime with a bad team? Was that the Celtics? They went to overtime against, who was that? The Celtics was playing against somebody the other day. Can't remember who it was. It wasn't a good team. They went to overtime to beat them. It had, like, let's not act like what we're doing, other teams that are good aren't doing the same thing. Let's not act like even though it didn't count, let's not act like OKC, you know, lost to the Bucks in the NBA Cup, a team that we destroyed. So it's not about that. Like, it's peaks and valleys during the season. But salute the Knicks 100, man. Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming. Let me see. Assist. Sam says assists are the key stat. 100% ISO. Yeah, we're gonna get to assists in a second, Sam. Sam, you on point, man. Salute to Sam. He's a part of the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. I'll show you how to get in there later. We talk about this Knicks stuff all the time, all day, every day. Now because you actually go back to the standings, because I wanted you guys to see those first two stats. The next stat we're gonna jump into pure standing stuff now. Now, outside of wins, right? The fact that we have 26 wins during this period of time. Remember, I'm not trying. If you just joined the show, this is the Knicks in 10 show. I'm only talking about games 31 through 40. Last night does not count in this show. So, yeah, we're talking about those games, right? Because that's what we're tracking. So, when you look at point differential, 6.8. Now, 6.8 isn't, it is a drop off. As you look at number 3 right here, point differential, we're 6.8. We did drop down to 7.2. We were 7.2. We dropped down to 6.8. This was during the previous 10-game stretch where we were balling out of control. We went 8-2 during that stretch, so we were balling out of control. And the differential has dipped a bit, but even though the differential has dipped, as you can see, during games 11 through 20, it was 6.4. So we still, as long as we stay near around 7, like if you round up to 7, like let's say we go down to 6.8. I don't know what it is now. I didn't check the standings today after the Pistons lost. I'm not talking about that right now. As long as we stay around 6.8, 6.5 and up, I'm not mad. So that's not a poise to be concerned if we dip in the differential. We still got the top 5 in the league? Yeah, we still got top 5 differential in the league. You see the West Coast right here. Memphis, 7.9. Oklahoma City. This right now, they're on pace, Oklahoma City. They're on track to have one of the best differentials in NBA history. Let's see if they could sustain that mark. But we're right behind these teams. So we're there with the elite teams. Even though we don't believe that, oh yeah, the Knicks is that well or that good, the Knicks are tracking still top 5, no matter how you cut it. Even with us losing the games that we lost during this stretch. Losing to OKC twice, losing to the teams that we lost, Orlando, we still a top 5 team. Like realistically, like when you look at point differential, like I always say, it separates the boys from the men. It shows how dominant you are against the competition. To have a high differential means that you're one of the big boys. And that's just consistently true. That's how it's been all year, right? And look, we could go back. We could continue to go back. This is 30 games. See that? 7.2. We've been in the top 5, right? Look at the teams that in the top 5. They maintain in this differential. We surpassed the Rockets, right? Look, this is 20 games into the season. This is 20 games into. Look at the differential, right? Plus 6. Even though we were in 4th place, we still had the 3rd highest differential. See that? So we're tracking well. And look, during this stretch, we were top 6. So we improved. This season is about improvement. And the numbers are showing that, yeah, we might slip and slide, peaks and valleys, but we're holding our rankings, which is a positive sign. Losing to Detroit, that wasn't positive last night, but I'm not talking about that. Don't worry about that. I know. So for some of you guys, the losses, it's hard to get it out your mind. But we got to for the sake of this show because we're not talking about that. In our last 10-game stretch, we did the snapshot 6-4. Our conference record, 19-11. 19-11 is not bad. We improved on that because if I go back to the positive standing stats, we were 14-7. So pushing it to 19-9, salute to us. That's a major victory. The Eastern Conference, they say, is weak, so we got to dominate the Eastern Conference. I don't think the Eastern Conference is weak. I really don't, because when you look at the Eastern Conference, you got teams like Detroit, you got teams like Toronto that's going to give you a run for your money on any given night. I've seen Toronto literally take team. I mean, look at these teams down here, right? Brooklyn Nets is going to give you a game. They kind of boosted their team. So before they made their trades, they would give you a game. Now, I don't know. They kind of tanking. what they should have been doing from the start, if you ask me. Even the Charlotte Hornets, if they healthy and they got their guys, Charlotte Hornets going to give you a game. Toronto's giving you a game. I seen Toronto lose multiple games to teams that were way better than them, like the Celtics had to go to overtime to beat them on a cheat code. They play everybody tough. But they're going to tell you that the Eastern Conference is weak compared to the West. And yeah, the West has more teams that are playoff competitors, if you ask me. But at the same time, these teams are going to give you a run for your money. So dominating the Eastern Conference is still something that we have to salute, and that's what the Knicks are doing. A 19-9 record is completely solid in my book. Let me see you guys something in the chat as I continue. Hopefully you guys can follow along well. I'm trying to put all the information on the screen so you can see it. It's a lot of information, but I want to make sure that, it's presented well. Salute to Tendrell in the building. He says Celtics almost lost to New Orleans. But there you go, Tendrell. They almost lost to New Orleans Pelicans. That was the game. I saw that game. Salute to the chat, keeping me on my toes. Let me see. Salute to Knicks 100. Let me see what he got to say. It's a major difference when your entire record is based off these kinds of wins. But Knicks 100, why don't you call out Cleveland for that, Knicks 100? Why don't you call out Cleveland? I would go. You see this 33-5? At least 29 of these wins are against teams that don't have their people. Are we still going to take away the Cavaliers' record? Are we still going to say the Cavs ain't beat nobody? Right? They beat Boston without Jaylen Brown. Right? Like, what are we saying? They beat OKC without Chet Holmgren. I'm saying, like, you can't do that. At this point in the season, it's not your fault if the other team is not healthy. Knicks 100, you got to be consistent with that, brother. You have to be consistent with that. Let me see. Salute the buzzer beater in the building. New York City, salute to you. Sam says losing sucks, especially against sub 500 teams, but plane ain't crashing into a mountain. But hold on. The good thing about the sub 500 team bit, right? The good thing about the sub 500 team bit. Let me go back to the 10-game snapshot. So we only technically lost to one bad team. This is not two. Yeah, Orlando. Like I said, I'm a vampire. I'm not an early morning guy. Orlando is for me, a bad loss is when you lose to a sub 500 team. We've been dominating Orlando all year. We beat them 3 games, right? One of those games, an NBA Cup game. They're still an above 500 team. So this is not technically a bad loss. I mean, it's a bad loss if you're going to say they didn't have their guys, right? Okay, fine. But it's not really a bad loss the way I track bad losses. Bad losses is when you lose to Detroit last year, when Detroit was terrible. I'm sorry, not last year. No, my bad. This is when we last lost to Detroit this year, okay? And they were a sub 500 team when we lost to them. That's a bad loss. Detroit is clearly tracking that above 500 team. Detroit is playing they're playing good basketball. And their veterans is pushing them to make the playoffs. So a loss last night to Detroit is not a bad loss. So during this last 10-game stretch, when we lost these 4 games, we technically only lost to one sub 500 team, and that just so happens to be the Chicago Bulls, who actually gave us 2 of our sub 500 losses. Right? So we lost 2 times to one team that's sub 500. I don't know what it is about Chicago. They just seem to have our number right now. But we still got 2 more games against them, so we could at least get them back, and they are part of the revenge tour. Let me see. AP says thumb downs to the Knicks. Oh, man, salute to you, AP, even though you say thumb downs to the Knicks. Yeah, it's been a tough stretch. But look, guys, we're not – the reason why I'm doing this show, 26-14, still top 5 record in the league during this stretch. Don't be too down on yourself. Don't be too down on yourself. And if you just joined the show, this is the Knicks in 10 show. We're going through some of the most important stats that we could find during the season throughout this time. So that's what this show is about. That's what we're tracking right now. Just to wrap up the standing bit. So as you can see, our home record, 13-6. Previously, when you look at games 21 through 30, we were 10-4. So we kind of maintain where we are at home. I don't think we're a dominant home team yet. I do think that we need to become more dominant at home. I think it's going to be essential to our ascension, and we really have to take care of the world's most famous arena. Last year, I have that handily in front of me. Oh, you know what? Do I have it here? No, that's this season. Okay, yeah, I do got the standings. Okay, cool. I could pull that up. So last year, this is last year. We at home we were 27-14. So look at the home and road record last year: 27-14, 23-18. We not really a dominant home team, a better road team technically because on the road is tougher. So having a 23-18 road record is solid, but a 27-14 home record is just not it. It's just not it, guys. I got to keep it real. It's just not. It's just not it. So right now, when we go back to the standings, you can see, 14, 14, 13-6 at home, 13-8 on the road. Got to be better at home. The road is fine. I don't mind the 13-8 on the road. I think that that's solid. And we've been maintaining an above 500 on the road since the last stretch of games. Games 21-30, we were 10-6. I can show you that. So see, this is what I'm looking at right here. On the road, games 21-30, 10-6. Currently 13-8. Games 31-40. And we got to be a better home team. If we want to win more than 50 games, because right now we're tracking around 50 games, like pretty much what we did last year. And honestly, health, if the Knicks don't do a trade, getting the bench right, we might finish with a record less sub 500. Sub 50 wins. Right now, we are tracking right around 50 wins, but I wouldn't be surprised at this rate if we get like 48 wins, y'all. If something doesn't change, we have to change the home record, to me, right? We played more road games than home games. During this last 10 game stretch, Sam, because I know you was concerned about the home games versus the road games. We lost some games at home that, we lost to Orlando, Oklahoma City, right? I mean, that was a tough game. We did beat San Antonio. I'm sorry, we did beat San Antonio wasn't at home. We had a lot of road games. We actually did pretty good on the road during this stretch, but we did beat Utah at home. So Utah, Toronto, we lost to Oklahoma City, did beat Milwaukee. Not bad at home, but we need to do better. Last night, we lost at home. Of course, that doesn't count for this video, but yeah, if we don't pick up the home record, we're not going to track well in terms of getting that 50 wins. Now, the only negative standing I got right here is this right here, close games. Close games, the Knicks currently are 31. I'm sorry. But up until this stretch here of 40 games, we're 7-7, right? 7-7. We did improve upon it because when we got up to 30 games in the season, we were 5-6. So we improved our record over the season, and this is the entire season. I'm just tracking it at the 31-40 mark. We're 7-7. So we did get to 500, which is an accomplishment. But close games for us still seem to be a struggle because last night we lost a close game. That doesn't count for this. But close games is another thing that I think we need to be above 500. Now, another caveat, how I track close games is more, to me, is better than how the NBA does it. The NBA, it says, if it's a 5-point game with 5 minutes or less, it's a close game. I think that that's a terrible metric because some games can be, if it's 6 points, it's not a close game, right? And then if it's a 1-point game, what happens when you win by 12? So how I track it is basically, was the game winnable? If you had a chance to win the game in the final 5 minutes, that's a close game. Whether it was 6 points, whether it was 7 points, how close were you? Did you have a lead in the fourth, right? We've seen that. Sometimes you have a lead in the fourth, you lose the lead, and then you lose by 10. You lose by 8. You lose by 9. That's still a close game. So For me, a blowout is anything that's not a close game. And I go with the close game metric, and then I work my way backwards. So that's how I track close games, just to let you guys know. It's a little different from the NBA because I feel like the 5 points in 5 minutes is not telling you a lot. It's not telling you that the team that's down 6 in the final 5 minutes was up by 6. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't account for that. So that's the standings, y'all. That's the standings. I'm getting ready to transition over to some of the advanced stats or the rankings, right? And I got that here. What I did was I took a snapshot of Basketball Reference. And basically, when you look at what you see on the screen, it's looking good too. So when you see a yellow column, that's a positive stat. Blue column is a negative stat, right? And some columns I don't even have highlighted, but I will reference, and I'll point them out to you. Now, when you look at the top chart that we're looking at right here, the bottom half of this chart is the opponents. So this is what the opponent is averaging and where we rank again in terms of defending or what we rank against the opponent, right? Okay, cool. Just so you guys can see that. Why is it selecting the image? All right, cool. So look. So I'm going to start on the offensive side. We got the number 2 offense. Still, I know that might sound crazy to some of you guys, but we still have the number 2 offense in basketball. And we honestly are doing a solid job in terms of maintaining this number 2 ranking. So we had the number 2 ranking the last time we did this show. And I think before that we were number 1. So the Knicks are doing a good job. We maintaining the top 2 offense. Got to give the Knicks a salute. I'm telling you guys right now, especially if you guys want to do trades, we don't have a problem on the offensive end. We don't have a problem on the offense. I repeat, we do not have a problem on the offensive end. The offense, to me, is terrific. There's only a couple of shortcomings on the offensive side. I'm going to get to it. But honestly, it's kind of like nitpicking. I'm going to keep it real. It's kind of like nitpicking. This still is one of the best offenses we've seen in Knicks history. I'm going to keep it real. Let's start with field goal percentage. So right now, 49%, just under 50% field goal percentage. Top 3 ranking. We've been holding this ranking for a while now, just under that 50% mark. Last time we were ranked number 2. We dropped down to 3. I don't really care about that. The number below the percentage is the ranking. So 6, 7, all of that. So you see we number 3. Just follow where my mouse cursor is. Field goal percentage, just under 50%. Ranked number 3rd in the league. Solid. This team is a good shooting team, despite how it looks on a nightly basis. Despite how it looks on the night. Some nights I'm like, damn, these guys can't hit anything. They can't hit nothing. They're just shooting bricks. But this team definitely is still holding that ranked all year. We've been tracking it all year. They've been holding that right under 50% mark. Solid shooting. Another stat I want to look at is 3-pointers. So in terms of 3-pointers made, I know it's blue. If you look where my mouse cursor is, I know it's blue. But the reason why I think it's a positive stat, I'm going to put it in a positive light, is because we actually improved our 3-point make rank by, hold on. Am I reading this right? No, actually, no. We didn't improve it. My bad. We actually dropped a bit. So that's why it's blue. Okay, yeah, I caught myself. Okay, cool. So I'm going to skip 3-pointers for now. I'm going to come back to 3-pointers. I'm going to go to 3-point percentage. I'm dealing with the positive stats first. So 3-pointers is not really positive. I mean, we're midway in terms of the league, but we could do better. But the 3-point percentage, this is where I want to go to, okay? So 3-point percentage, just follow where my mouse is. We're 37% right now. Still, right? Top 7 in the league. We did drop a bit in 3-point percentage, right? Last time we checked, we were the number 2 ranked 3-point shooting team at just under 40%. Right now, we're tracking at 37%, just above 37%. So 3-ball is not falling as much, but we're still in the top 10. Still in the top 10 to me. That's still a good feat. If we can hold a top 10 ranking, I'm not mad at our 3-point percentage. but it's not as bad as you think it is. Where we actually do thrive is 2-point percentage. So when you look at 2-point percentage, we're number 2 in the league, and we shoot 57% from twos. The only team that's ahead of us in 2-point percentage and field goal percentage, well, the team that's number 1 in field goal percentage is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've been performing like a machine, but we're going to see what this next stretch of 10 games look like. The Cavs, they lost their last game to the Pacers. Let's see if the Cavs can sustain this pace. I don't think that they're a 70-win team. Don't believe it. They possibly could win 60 games, but I think the Cavs are going to start losing some more games. I think that teams are going to start exploiting the fact that on the perimeter defensively, because I'm not sure if you guys saw that Indiana Pacers game versus the Cavs. I saw that game, and they struggle against dynamic scoring on the wing. That's why I still give us the edge against the Cleveland Cavaliers, because we still a top 10 3-point shooting team, but the 2-point shot. If the Knicks shoot more 2-point shots, I think that we can definitely benefit more, even though we are, when you look at 2-point shots, we are 6th in the league with 30. But if we can just continue to knock down the 2-point shot, I said the 2-point shot, that's been an advantage. We have some of the best 2-point scorers in basketball, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, incredible 2-point percentage scorers. So that's an area we've been thriving in, right? And we maintain this ranking. We improved a percentage point, or just under a percentage point from last time we tracked it, but we've been holding a 1 and 2 spot here, right? That salute to us for holding a 1 and 2 spot here. I'm sorry, the second place spot. Another positive stat I'm looking at all the positive stats. We're gonna get to the ugly stats, but I'm focusing on all the positive stats. And once again, if you just joined the stream, this is the Knicks in 10. We're talking about games 31 through 40. We're not talking about last night. All right. So look, when you look at free throw percentage, we're 3rd in free throw percentage. We've been top 3 all year. We were actually number 1 in free throw percentage up when we got to the 20-game mark. When we got to the 30-game mark, that's when we dropped a bit. And we've been shooting a little bit more free throws as we've been going along. So it's positive, right? So during the last stretch, we around 80%. So we've been tracking around 80% for the year. If we can hold this 80% mark, it's cool. I'm not worried about free throw percentage. I'm more worried about attempts, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Trust me. Let me see if you guys are following along. Let me get into the chat. Salute to the chat, by the way. You guys are the best chat in the world. I do appreciate the support, and I'm trying to get through this Knicks in 10 show. Not a morning guy, but I'm making it happen, man. I got my Captain 11 mug. Get yours at shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com. Or you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com and you'll be able to see how to get to the merch. Just click on the merch section, and it'll take you to get the mug. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm cool with the early morning. Let me see. AP says the Knicks defense stinks. I'm going to get to that. Listen, everything ain't all positive and hunky-dory. I know the standings was positive for the most part. But no, we're going to get to the ugly too. I'm not just somebody that focuses on the positive nature of things. Let me see. Buzzer beater, we need rim protection. Yeah, we're going to get to the defense. Sam says, just because you disagree with the style of play doesn't mean it's problematic. What are the stats behind it, like jumping and passing on the perimeter? Good point. I'm not going that far, but good point. I'm gonna talk about assists though. Definitely gonna talk about assists. Let me see what else you guys talking about. Oh, salute to Joe Curry in the building. Evan Mobley's playing great. Always knew he had it in him. Yeah, Evan Mobley. And you know what's funny, Joe? I said that if the Cavs use Evan Mobley right, they'll be a force. I always said that. If you go back to the old shows, I said, the player that worries me the most on the Cavs is Evan Mobley. It's not Garland and Mitchell. It's Evan Mobley, because if he can become a two-way machine, because he's already great defensively. I mean, he was All-NBA defensive team in his second year. The brother could defend at a high level. But if he can get some touches, they're running some pick and roll plays for him. They giving him some opportunity to get some shots up. He definitely has the green light. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Let me see. Nostalgia Nick. Salute AP. Let me see. He says buzzer in the house. Salute the buzzer in the house. New York City, salute to you. Um, Cavs have 5 losses. You keep praying they fall if all you want. Won't help our situation. No, but Knicks 100. All I'm saying is you keep talking about the wins that we got. I haven't not once heard you criticize the Cavs because they got some of the same wins we got. The Denver win, they got the same Denver win without Evan Gordon. They beat Boston without Jaylen Brown. They beat OKC without Chet Holmgren. What do you want me to say? We could go down a list of Cleveland Cavaliers wins, and you can see they haven't beat nobody when they're 100%. Let me see. I can't stand football. AP. Let me see. Thank God for YouTube. Back in the day, radio stations would be talking about football and basketball all season. Facts. That's why we got special shows like this where I'm going to give you all the Knicks stats that they're not going to give you. You're not going to see no show breaking down the Knicks stats the way I'm breaking down the Knicks stats. I'm taking you, I'm tracking, and we track it at each and every game, right? Because look, I could go, this is 30 games, right? Let me go to my basketball reference. This is 30 games. Look, this is my basketball reference at the 30 game mark, right? Look at this. Bam. I mean, I'm keeping track of all of it. Noticing the trends, right? Noticing the trends. 20 game mark. This is the 20 game mark. Wow, look at this. This is tracking where we are here, where we drop off, where were we ranking, right? So, yeah, I go into great detail, man. Salute the football. It's fun. I didn't watch the playoffs last weekend. I will be watching the playoffs this weekend, but yeah, we got to talk about our Knicks more, and that's why we got channels like this. So if you're not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you do subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when I'm going live, right? And I'm going to get into the schedule in a second. I just want to get through some more of these stats so we could keep moving. So right now I'm still on offense. I'm moving through offense. Offense is not the only thing we're going to be talking about, but I start here because I don't want to just be a negative Nancy. We have a good team. Are we the best team in the league? No. Are we a top 5 team? Yes. At least during this stretch. I don't know what the standing is today. But during this stretch, we were a top 5 team. That's all I'm concerned about right now. Okay, so when you look at assists, 27.2. Now, we're not top 10 in assists during this stretch, but we did improve. Let me go back to the 30-game mark. So at the 30-game mark, why I keep doing that? No, we didn't improve. We actually did not improve in assists. But we still a top 11 team. I take it. We did drop off on the assists. I take it. That's why I have it circled here, because we dropped off. My bad. But we still in the top. And that 27 assist number is important. I'm going to show you why in a second. So can we be better? Yes, we have to be better, but we still in the top 15, around the top 10. As far as turnovers, I know this is a crazy stat to me. I watch the games, and especially when we lose, we turn over the ball a lot. We're still 4th in turnovers at 13.1. It's amazing to me. I mean, I don't even know how we hold on to some of these stats. like it's crazy. Because we've been in the top 3 all year. So under 13 and under turnovers, that's what I expect to see. If we start to see this get over 13, like 13.5, 14, that's a problem. But we're still protecting the ball, though we've been a little loosey-goosey with the ball recently. Points, 7th in points, 117 points a night. One of the best Knicks scoring teams, if not the best Knicks scoring team in Knicks history. 117 points a game. Some of you guys may take it for granted. I don't. To have a top 7 ranking in points, this is something that the Knicks typically don't do. So it's to me, it's a positive. It's just a positive experience. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. And then in drawing fouls, the Knicks team do a great job in terms of drawing fouls, right? So we draw 19.2 fouls a game, right? And 11th, we're doing a better job. This is why I have this here. This is what I was supposed to talk about. Not the assist. It was supposed to be this. So I'm gonna show. I can't show you guys, but I'm gonna tell you guys. So during the last stretch, I actually could show you guys. So during the last stretch, and this is the 30-game mark, right? So during the 30-game mark, when you look at in terms of drawing fouls or drawing. Okay, cool. So look, when you look at us drawing fouls, it was 18.8. That was 22nd in the league. This is the last 30 games. This is 30 games. The last time we did this show, pretty much. When you fast forward to now, this is now. Boom, fast forward to now. We improved. We moved up. I know it's only a fourth of a tenth of a point. Basically half a point up. But that half a point up has propelled us 11 spots higher. So we're now in the top 11 in terms of drawing fouls. Salute to the Knicks. And you saw last night, that's one thing they did last night, was they did a good job at drawing fouls. So salute to the Knicks. We are getting to the line. I'm hoping that this trend stays, because if we can continue to draw more fouls and shoot more free throws, then we'll be fine. Now, let me get into the shortcomings. Now, these are the shortcomings. These are what you guys want to hear in the chat. Some of you guys, oh, I'm too positive. Why are you only focusing on the positive stats? I'm focusing on the negative stats. Now, like I said, when you look at the blue columns is negative. Yellow is positive. Blue, negative. Bad. Everything else I don't really care about. It's not that it's not important. It's just that, to me, what I'm highlighting is the most important stats, because we could be here for 3 hours going over everything. And I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to be here. Well, some of you guys might want to be here for 3 hours. But yeah, I don't want to be here for 3 hours doing this. I'm going to try to keep this between an hour and a half, maybe up to 2. But look at this. 3-point attempts, 3-point shots, not good. Got to get it higher. Only 13 threes a game. That's 17th in the league. We talked about that a little bit. But 3-pointer attempts. 3-pointer attempts. 24th in the league at 35. The reason why this to me is really important and bad is because Coach Tibbs says he wants to shoot 40. Coach Tibbs said that out of his own mouth. I would like the Knicks to shoot 43s a game. We have a 5-out team, and we are in the bottom 10 in terms of 3-point attempts. We're top 7 in percentage, bottom 10 in shots. More 3-point shots, I think, can help this team. I'm not sure if it's 40 is the magic number, but 37, 37 to me is a good mark. 37.5, maybe even 38. Doesn't necessarily have to be 40, but closer to 40, I would like to see that. And the Knicks are falling short on their own goals. And we slid too, because when you go back to the 30-game mark, this is the 30-game mark. When you look at 3-pointers attempted, we actually were better. 36.4, ranked 18th. So we slid a bit in terms of the 3-point attempts. We're shooting 1 less three than we did when we last did this show. So we got to do I think we need to be more aggressive in terms of that. As far as free throws, as you see, I got it in blue here. Free throws to me is definitely a problem. This team, 80%, you got to shoot more free throws. You're not shooting enough free throws, right? Free throws made, we ranked 15th in the league with 17. We did improve our ranking, though. We did go up 23 spots. I can show you real quickly. This is when we last tracked it at 30 games. So when you look at the free throws here, we actually improved. So we went up we're shooting 1 more free throw a game. This is what we did last time, 20 free throws attempted, right? When we look at what we're shooting now, we're shooting 21. So not bad. Not bad. Just look where my mouse cursor is. So we're improving. We're trying to get more free throws up. You see it. You can clearly see as a part of the game plan. Okay, we need to attack these guys, especially against aggressive defenses like Detroit has an aggressive defense. I'm not saying it's the best defense, but they're very aggressive on defense. Isaiah Stewart, them guys. I mean, that dude is a hack. Honestly, I'm going to say this. I don't know what we're going to trade, but Isaiah Stewart, I might look into Isaiah Stewart trade. He looked all right to me last night. He didn't look good the first couple of games against Detroit, but it looked like last night he might be the guy who we need. That toughness that people keep saying we don't have. Maybe go get Isaiah Stewart. I'm not saying the Pistons are going to give him up, but he would be somebody I would look at. I think he could help us. As far as free throws attempted, yeah. Like I said, we went up a point. So that's the negative stuff. Like, I think that we could do a better job of shooting more free throws. However, we are trending in a more positive direction. So you got to give the boys credit for that. We're trying to get more free throws up. And we'll see during this next 10-game stretch, will it be even a more priority to get better at getting some more free throws up. Now, unfortunately, if you're shooting more threes, you can't shoot more free throws. Okay, so you got to pick your poison. I would rather see more free throws because more free throws shows me that these guys are trying to, attack the basket more, which also helps with your 2-point attempts, right? With your 2-point attempts. So I kind of want to see more free throws more than I want to see 3-pointers. You let me know in the chat what you guys want to see. Let me see if you guys talking about in the chat. As I move through this Knicks in 10 show, this is the Knicks in 10 show. We will be tracking the first 10 games of the season. If you just joined the show, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these 10 games here. Excuse me, my handwriting is not the greatest, but 31 through 40 games, 31 through 46 and 4, 26-14 record. So everything up until this point, and we're looking at stats in the period and throughout the whole season up to this point. Okay. So let me see what you guys talking about in the chat. Sam says he got 8 hours. Salute to Sam, man. Sam, I know you got 8 hours, man. Salute to Sam. By the way, I have multiple screens on one screen right now. My soundboard is on the same screen as my Streamlabs. So that's why I'm not doing as much soundboard stuff. But I do got it here. New York City, salute to Sam. Let me see. Knicks 100, same team beat the Nuggets this year. Same teams we beat this year, Nuggets and Wolves. We did beat a very good Sixers team in that streak last year. But that's it. Last year was more of a struggle against above 500 teams because we played more on Knicks 100. At the same time, we can only play who's in front of us. And all I'm saying is you got to use the same excuse for Cavaliers you're saying right now. When you want to discount our wins, you have to discount Cleveland wins because they didn't beat nobody, especially none of the top teams when they're 100% healthy. I'm just keeping it real. That's all I'm trying to say. And I don't think we should use that excuse at this point in the season. Let me see. PD, love your detailed work, but you got to you lose us B-ball guys when you talk offense, when you're losing because of no defense. I'm getting the defense in a second, PD. Tibbs not playing the center with Cat is killing us. I would like to see it mixed in. I'm not sure if that's what's killing us completely, but I'm getting to the defense in a second. I just want to read some of you chats because I know you guys are saying some good things in the chat. So Knicks 100. Now we trying to issue on what the Cavs are doing, just like we said. But the Celtics easy pass to a ring. No, I mean. I'm not taking the issue. Censorship. I'm not taking the issue on anyone. Knicks 100. All I'm saying is the same thing you're saying about us and the teams we beat. Make sure you also apply that to Cleveland because they've been beating teams not 100. They don't have a signature win, like you would say, against a team when they're 100% healthy. They don't have it. I'm not gonna go through because this is the Knicks in 10 show. Don't got time to go through their records, but just go look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Go to ESPN.com, click on Cleveland, and just go through all their games and look at the box scores and see who they're missing. I guarantee you're going to see top players each and every time. All their wins, players are missing. So now I'm getting to the defense. Salute to you, PD. You came at the right time. You want to see defense. Like I said, not sure when you came into the chat, PD. Blue column is negative. Yellow column is positive. Okay? So now we're going to talk about, and I also just talked about the offensive shortcomings. We need to shoot more free throws. We need to attempt more threes, or at least do one of them. So everything ain't positive. We are a good team. So a lot of our stats are positive. I'm not here to just be a bearer of bad news. This show, honestly, is the show that the Knicks are tracking well. We're trending well. I mean, last night's loss didn't help, but we're not talking about that. So we're doing a decent job. Now, defense, we rank 17 in the league, if you can see where my mouse pointer is. 17th in the league right now. Not good. We actually dropped some spots. I'm going to go to the 30-game mark. So this is at the 30-game mark. When we last came and did this show, we were 14. We were 14 in defensive rating. And I thought, oh, man, we're trending good. We got Precious back because this is when we got Precious back. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to continue. And I'm hoping like, yeah, maybe Mitch will be back or we'll hear some more updates with Mitch. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking, yo, we're going to be great, right? Wrong. Go to the 40-game mark. And we dropped 4 spots in ranking. Now, that is problematic. It is problematic, but it's not the end all be all because we all suspect. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys heard the rumors. Jericho Sims is reportedly on the block. The Knicks are actively trying to make a move. So if you guys see a trade happens, let me know in the chat. You know, I'm talking to you guys right now, not keeping up with news. Maybe we make a move to improve this defensive part, get better in defensive rating. I don't know. But the next time we do this show, which will be 50 games, I need to see this get back to 14 at least. We get it back to 14, it's a great win. By the way, some of the games we got upcoming, you know, Philadelphia is a winnable game. Minnesota, again, yeah, that's going to be tough because they're going to be mad, but it's a winnable game. Atlanta, we got to get them back. Winnable game. Brooklyn, definitely a winnable game. By the way, that game is going to be on TNT. It is a national TV game, but I don't think we're going to do a live play. Do y'all want to see a live play-by-play for the Brooklyn game? I do have a Knicks call-up show, and I'm going to show you guys that in a second. Let me get through the defense first, and I'm gonna do the programming. But Sacramento, yeah, they won 6 in a row. They might be a little different, but you know, they're a team that wasn't doing well all year. To me, that's a winnable game. Our real test will be Memphis. We did lose to Detroit. Detroit seems to have our number right now, but I think the Knicks can go on a nice run. I think the Knicks can show like some defensive prowess during that stretch. So I need to see that improve. Right now, we're going to talk about defense now. So all my defense people, I'm a defensive, like when I play basketball, I'm more of a defensive player. I'm locking down everything. Salute to all the channel members that saw me play defense and lock up in the tournament I was in. Yeah. By the way, you want to see some basketball highlights, become a channel member. That's one of the perks. Yeah, I was locking up. That's what I do. So defense is my favorite area. Now, I'm going to start with the basics. The steals and blocks is basic, right? One thing I'm gonna say, the Knicks are never. I mean, you could go back as far as you want. Maybe up into the '90s. I think in the '90s we probably were good at these areas because Patrick Ewing was a good shot blocker. But ever since Ewing, we haven't been a good shot blocking team and steals team. We just haven't. Like it's not even. I don't even care about steals. I'm gonna keep it real, right? I got it here highlighted in blue. For only 4 blocks a game. Of course, you would like to get more blocks. 7.6 steals a game. Of course, you would like to get more steals. It's not something that we do, right? But blocks and steals do not tell the entire story of defense, okay? It's not, blocks and steals is not even like, just because you're not top 10 in blocks or top 10 in steals, to me, that doesn't mean you're not a good defensive player. You can still be one of the better defensive players and not be top 10 in these areas. Now, blocks to me are a little bit more important than steals because blocks means you're contesting shots, especially for big guys at the rim. And having guys that are intimidators in the paint makes for a difference because you don't have to block every shot. But if you can make the defense think that you're going to block every shot, you know, that is a good, you know, weapon to have in your arsenal. But at the same time, the Knicks never do good in steals and blocks. I'm going beyond steals and blocks. But I do have it on the screen to show that we're ranked 22nd in steals, 28th in blocks. That's not good. That's not getting it done. I'm going to move past that, though. Here's what's a greater concern to me. And to me, on the defensive end, this is the number one concern defensively. 3-point percentage. Opponent 3-point percentage. Look at opponent 3-point makes as well. See, these are highlighted in blue. Highlighted in blue. Teams shoot their best. Teams shoot their best when they're playing against the Knicks, a la the Orlando Magic loss, when they hit the 5 threes in the 4 threes in the fourth quarter, something crazy like that. To beat us, you know, we don't do a good job defending the 3-ball. We don't do a good job defending the 3-ball. When we look at our 3-point percentage for the opponent, right, we ranked 22 last time, so we even dipped. This is where we were last time. Let me show you the 30-game mark. So look, 30-game mark, we were 22nd. Teams were shooting 36%, right? Teams shooting 36%. When you get to this time around, teams are shooting about 0.5% better at 37%. This is a problem, y'all. And I don't know what can fix this problem, except my only solution to the defense would be to start a defensive-minded player, a Deuce McBride, another defensive-minded player, maybe even a Precious Achiuwa, because if you start Precious Achiuwa, right, and you move OG to the 3, maybe that helps your perimeter defense out a little bit. No offense to Josh Hart. Josh Hart is phenomenal. But maybe OG needs to be a 3 on defense, where he can be more of a helper, where he could be more of a switcher, a disruptor. I don't know. But right now, the 3-point defense is just not good. And teams are also making more threes than us. See that? We're 17th in 3 points make, middle of the pack. But teams are shooting more than us. We're shooting 13.2 threes a game. They're shooting 13.6 a game. You guys see that on the screen? Not good. Bad. However, we did improve from last time in terms of opponents' threes, 3-point makes. We improved a little bit. We went from 19 to 17, but still not good. It's still not good. We struggle at defending the 3 ball. I think the change, I'm not saying that I want to change the starting lineup. I'm just giving you an idea that in order to change the starting lineup, in order to help improve upon this, I'm thinking OG needs to be in his natural position. He does a great job at the 4, but he would be better at the 3 and let Precious get the 4s. And now you can vacillate between OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on the guards. Maybe that might help. Maybe taking the pressure off of Mikal to be the only one guarding the elite guards might help. Mikal did a good job in the first half against Cade Cunningham. But once Cade got rolling, boy, there's nothing we could do about that. Nothing could stop Cade, not even OG. But I think that OG and Mikal at the 3-2 can definitely help us defensively. Do I want to see Josh Hart go to the bench? No. But defensively on the perimeter, that might be the solution. So that's 3-pointers, right? Another stat I'm looking at when we talk about the opponent on the defensive end is forcing turnovers. So yes, steals are a part of forcing turnovers. But at the same time, even though we're not a top steals team, I think we could do a better job at forcing turnovers. Right now, we're ranked 23rd in forcing turnovers at 13.7. At 13.7 a game. When you go to the 30-game mark, we actually improved a little bit. We moved up 4 spots. This is the 30-game mark. When we last did this show, we were 27th in turnovers, 13.3. So we moved up, a little bit. But we moved up in ranking at least. Not really in percentage point. Well, yeah, we moved up about half a point in forcing turnovers. Not bad. I mean, we're trying. Maybe when we do the show, hopefully we could get it into the top 20. You know, and like I said, this is not, you're not going to go from a world beater, okay, yeah, we're going to shut down the 3 ball and force more turnovers and just in a flash like that. That's not how that happens. Now, do we make a move? Does Mitchell Robinson come back? I don't know. Maybe something, you can make a big time adjustment because the same team not necessarily going to do better. But if you bring in somebody to help with the perimeter defense, it could help. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying it could help. So we don't do a good job forcing turnovers. Defensive rating, 17. Some more defensive stats. I mean, everything else, like we're middle of the pack. Like we don't do a good job at field goal percentage. Like we're 18, right? We're just like in the middle of the pack with everything else. 2-point shots, 2-point percentage, 14. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really have positive defensive stats at all. Right? We're just in the middle of the pack or terrible. That's why we're ranked 17. We're in the bottom half of the league on defense. Not to mention, we only have one player on the team that has a top 25 defensive rating. And if you didn't watch this show last time, you will be surprised as to who this person is. By the way, salute the Knicks will be champs 25-26 in the building. I do see you. Knicks Tape Madness, Discord server, channel member. Salute to you, brother. And Ahmad. The problem isn't the 3-point disparity. It's opponent's ability to move the ball around the perimeter, get to the open man. In fact, Knicks, that's what we're saying. Knicks will be chance. The perimeter defense is terrible. They don't rotate well on defense, right? They have a hard time doubling and then rotating, right? They have a hard time, period. Even if it is not a double team. I mean, just defending the screen. This team really doesn't do a good job on the perimeter. I do think part of the reason why is because these guys are out of position defensively. I really do think that that's the reason. You know, Josh Hart, you put him anywhere. Great, you know, he's all over the place. So on any given night, you don't know who the hell Josh Hart gonna guard, right? But at the same time, OG Anunoby, he's guarding the power forwards. Mikal Bridges is guarding the point guards. Maybe Mikal is better suited to guard 2s and 3s. Maybe OG is just better at the 3, where he don't got to wrestle against Giannis, Isaiah Stewart, and you know, all these power forwards. Patrick Williams and all these big guys. Maybe OG Anunoby needs to be a 3. So yeah, the perimeter defense to me is just, yeah, it's just terrible. It's terrible. Next, just to add to what you were saying. Next 100. After all of them fireworks from Joe and OKC first half, what does Bridges do? Play first or second half? Give up a 3 to Joe. Yeah, you know, I think Bridges is he's on the island a lot of the times because these guys don't have no cohesion defensively, and the numbers show it. The numbers are showing it. Teams are shooting well against the Knicks. Teams are performing well against the Knicks. I could go into some more advanced defensive stats, and I'm not really that much of an advanced guy. Yeah, I'm gonna get into some advanced stats, but I'm not really an advanced stat guy like that. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Not really an advanced stat guy like that. Let me see. Mikal is horrible. He's a third option at best. I don't know about horrible. Nah, yeah, Mikal's not horrible. I just think defensively they're on the island most of the time. AP, salute to AP in the chat. He says, whatever helps us win, we can't worry about people's feelings being hurt. If Josh has to go to the bench, he does. No, that's a fact, AP. You know what? You already know this is the Objective Knicks fan channel. I don't really care about no individual stuff. By the way, let me jump into the upcoming programming right quick. I'm gonna move a little faster because there's some other things I want to talk about on this show. But this is the upcoming programming, y'all. No, this is not the most. Hold on, let me work on this in the background. That's not the most up to date programming I want to share with you guys. Hold on, you know what? Let me do it. Let me see if I could do it on the fly. I made some changes to the schedule. Next week we do got a national TV game against the Nets. I personally do not want to cover that game because, in my opinion, I feel like the Nets is, you know, that's just not a good watch, if you ask me. But let me see if I got the changes here. But we'll see. Okay, I don't got the most. I'm gonna work on that in the background. I don't got the most up-to-date fly. I'm gonna work on that in the background. But as far as the net game, do y'all guys want to watch that as a live play-by-play? Because typically when we don't have games on MSG, I do a live play-by-play. But do you guys want me to do that? I'm not sure if you guys want me to do that. I'm not sure if you guys want me to do that. Give me 1 second, y'all, as I work on this stuff in the background. I'm trying to get the most up-to-date flyer. Let me see you guys talking about it in the chat in the meantime. Hold on. Let's do it like that. All right, let me jump out of research mode. Pow. Okay, cool, because I'm working in the background. Josh said he doesn't have no ego. Might mean, ooh, I like that. Josh Hart said he might not have ego. That might mean him jumping to the bench. You know what? That could be true, y'all. That honestly could be true. He's talking to himself. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But I know that Josh Hart wasn't talking to nobody else on the team, like that article tried to say, Athlon Sports. They tried to make it seem like the Knicks have issues, you know, with egos. I'm like, who has issue with egos on this team? This team has to be one of the most egoless teams we've ever seen on the Knicks, right? I mean, besides getting paid, and not everybody even wants to get paid like that. You see Jalen Brunson took a pay cut. outside of getting paid, I mean, that's the only real like thing you could say about OG Anunoby. Oh yeah, he got paid a lot of money. He wasn't bending on the money. But outside of that, I never heard OG Anunoby say, yo, I got to be the third option and I got to get this amount of touches. You don't really see that from OG Anunoby. You don't really see that from, by the way, I got the upcoming schedule here. So let me get to that. Okay, cool. So here's some of the upcoming schedule. Now this Friday, we do got the Knicks call-up show, 10:45 p.m. So hopefully you guys will be there or be square. Then we got This Week Inside the Knicks at a special time. Next Monday, we're going to be doing the show at 12 p.m. Martin Luther King special. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I didn't want to do it at its normal time. I don't like doing post-Knick game show. I do them. Like the Friday Knicks call-up show has become a Knick post-game show. But because I don't like the emotion of the game dictating the conversation. And I feel like we can have some good conversations without necessarily, focusing on the negative of the game that one day. Because sometimes that game can, take you away from the big picture. So we're going to do the podcast This Week Inside the Knicks, 12 p.m. on Monday. New time, special time. We also going to do a Thursday Knicks call-up show. Now, I'm going to look in the chat to see if you guys like the live play-by-plays, if you wanted me to do it. I don't mind doing it. I mean, it is what it is. But honestly, I don't really care about the Nets. I'd rather do a call-up show on Thursday. Now, here's the special quagmire about next week. There is no Knicks games on Thursdays and Friday. So it's like, man, I wanted to test out the Thursday show when there was a game on Friday. It's fine. We still going to do it. So we got 2 call-up shows next week. I'm going to try to have a special guest on as well. All right. And then, of course, This Week Inside the Knicks. After that, the following Monday will be at its regular time, 6 p.m. So next Monday, This Week Inside the Knicks. The podcast on Mondays will be at its regular time, 6 p.m. So this Monday, though, the 20th, upcoming, the Knicks, This Week Inside the Knicks will be at 12 p.m. Just to let you guys know. So that's the upcoming programming. And I'm going to jump back into research mode. Let me transition. All right. For real, the perimeter defense got to be. But yeah, the numbers are showing it. I mean, when you look at the numbers in terms of perimeter defense, to piggyback into your conversation in the chat, look, we're 18th in field goal percentage defense, right? Teams shooting 46%. They're not shooting as good as us, but it's still 46%. Middle of the pack kind of stuff. We got to begin to move to top 10 defensive ranking. I think that's the key to us having the season that we want. I don't think you can get to 50 games or even 50-plus games being ranked 17th in defense. I don't think we necessarily have to finish at that mark, but they're going to have to make some adjustments. And you're seeing in the news right now, the Knicks are looking to make these adjustments, but they want to be smart like how they always are. Let me see what you guys talking about. Josh has been out of control. You need to get Leon Rose or James Dolan on the show. No one ever hears from them. That's funny. I would love to do it. And to be honest, salute to you for that comment. This would be a nice, listen, I'll create a safe space for them on this platform. And I will have a great conversation because I'm going to ask objective questions. I'm not coming with the typical fan stuff. I'm going to ask about some of the intricacies of the trade, whatever details they could share, how they was able to pull the Towns trade, or how did you squeeze yourself into a pretzel? How did you, know that to give $1 over the minimum to make the trade happen with the Hornets to free up the money so that way you can get under the apron, the second apron so the trade can go through. Those are the questions I'll be asking them. But yeah. Get them on the show. But to be honest, though, seriously, though, I don't need to hear from Leon Rose. If the team is doing well, I don't need to hear from Leon Rose. And definitely, I don't want to hear from James Dolan. He's just the owner. I don't need to. Listen, when it comes to basketball, that's not his world. His world is business. So he can handle the business of the Knicks basketball. I'm pretty sure that's where he's active. When it comes to basketball operations, he said it himself. He doesn't even need to be there. Now, I do want to show that, while the Knicks defense is not the greatest, they have improved upon their 2-point defense. If it matters to you guys. I'm not sure if that matters. When you look at 2-point defense, we're currently number 14, right? Previously, we were ranked number 19. So we jumped up 4 spots, right? This is where we currently are in 2-point, well, currently were in 2-point defense, I believe. Hold on, did I get that right? No. I didn't get that right. No. We jumped up. So we maintained the 14th. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, cool. So we're 14th in 2-point defense. If that means something, top 15. I mean, hey, it is what it is. And opponent 3-point attempts, but look at the opponent 3-point attempts. We actually definitely improved on this because last time when we checked the opponent 3-point attempts, we were ranked 19th. Let me show you guys. I can show you better than I could tell you. This is the last time we checked it, right? We were ranked number 14. We actually moved up 7 spots. And we dropped it a whole point. One whole shot. So, hey, if we can hold this top 10 here and then get the 3-point attempts maybe to closer to top 10 and then get the 3-point percentage into top 20, that might benefit us. That now we might show. So the defense, they're trying to make some improvements in the defense. Of course, we're not good, but we're trying to make some improvements. And I'm hoping that during this next stretch, because I don't think we got no royal beaters from the offensive standpoint. Like Minnesota is not a great offensive team. Philadelphia definitely hasn't been a great offensive team. Atlanta is solid, but Brooklyn, Sacktown, they're still trying to discover who they are. Most of the teams we're getting ready to play are not world beaters on the offensive end. I just want to say that. Now, let me jump into, as I don't want to make this show too long because I want people to watch this back. There are some other stats I want to jump into, so I'm gonna jump in the I'm gonna go scroll down in my basketball reference now. Now we're gonna get into some individual stuff. Okay, we're gonna get to some individual stuff. Now, last time we did the show, and I'm gonna show you guys. Last time we did the show, we had 6 scorers in double-digit points. We got 5 scorers in double-digit points. Deuce McBride, he's no longer a 10-point per game scorer, but 9.5 is like 10. But he dropped down. I don't know what's going on with Deuce. I feel like Deuce has some lingering injuries. I really do believe that. I feel like Deuce has some lingering injuries that we may not know about, like the hamstring. Before it was something else earlier in the year that he missed 5 games. I don't think it was the hamstring, but I don't know. There's something going on with. I don't think Deuce is 100%. His production is dropping off. Matter of fact, let me see if I got this right here. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. So this is the now. I couldn't get the last 10 game averages, so this is the 11th game, 11 games, including the Detroit game, but I'm still going to show this because this is what Deuce McBride, right? This is what he's been averaging during this stretch. Okay. Now he has, well, this is not totals. Let me see if I could let's do per game. So this is what per game is better. So this is what Deuce is doing per game, right? He's averaging 5.3 points during this last 10 game stretch, right? 5.3 points. His production is dropped. Of course, he only played 6 games. But that is a concern because the bench, I mean, it's been the lifeblood for us. And Campaign, his numbers is also down. 6.2 points per game. But Cam, I think if his minutes stabilize, because he's only averaging 13 minutes, I do think that if Cam was averaging 20 minutes a game, he would be a double-digit scorer. But that's not the world we live in right now. Campaign, he's averaging, let me go back to basketball reference. Campaign is currently averaging 7.1 points a game. And, both these guys are dropping from their totals. This is the last stretch. Campaign was 7.7. He's down to 7. Deuce McBride, 10.3. He's down to 9.5. I don't know what's going on with Deuce, but Cam, I'm hopeful that he can get more light, more touches, improve on his scoring. As far as the starters, I mean, everything is pretty much consistent. Mikal Bridges did not get to 18 points like how we wanted him to, but he got close to 18 points last time around. Let me see. Well, no, last time he was, no. I said that wrong. We wanted him to get to 20 points. He's at 17.6, so he dropped. Mikal Bridges dropped on his points. per game. Towns and Brunson consistent, you know that. Josh Hart 14.4 points. That's good for him. You know, he was at 13.9, so Josh Hart is picking up his scoring a little bit. OG Anunoby, you know, he was at 16.8. I think he's still there now. No, 16.1. OG Anunoby's offense is kind of going downhill. OG Anunoby was once shooting 37% from three. He's now shooting 34.6% from three. Josh Hart, who would have thought that Josh Hart would be the better three-point shooter between he, Bridges, and OG Anunoby? Josh Hart is shooting 37% from three on 3.5 attempts. Josh Hart has been balling. That's why I gave him the Knick of the week. I don't care about Brunson and Towns. Even though Brunson had a great week or a solid week, to me, Josh Hart doing what he did was more impressive. So I got to give more weight to the guys who are not stars when I do my Knick of the weeks. But Josh Hart playing incredible basketball. Maybe it's time to shake up the lineup. I said it on the Knicks call-up show. Hey, this is the time to change the lineup, man. If you are going to do a change in the lineup, there's no better time than now. We don't want to go on another 5-game winning streak, and then everything looks good. Then you start losing games again, and now you're like, oh, let's change the lineup. So I'm not saying that we have to. I'm just saying that now would be the time if you're going to make the change. Rebounds, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's battling Sabonis for 1 and 2 in rebounds, right? I think he's number 2. I do got the leaders on the bottom, and Josh Hart 9.3 rebounds. Jalen Brunson 7.5 assists. I wanted to see him get to 8. I think he dropped like 0.3 of a point. No, yeah, he dropped a tenth of a point. He was 7.6. So now Jalen is 7.5. I would love to see him get closer to 8, but I'm not worried about the captain. He's still shooting just under 40% from three, just under 50% from the field. I'm cool with that. You know, free throw percentage over 80%. But Kel's improving his free throw percentage. He was 66%. Now he's just under 70%. I do need to see him attempt more free throws. He's only attempting 1 a game. That's not good. But improving your free throw percentage, can't be mad at that. 2-point percentage. Here's like I said, we got a lot of 2-point percentage gods on this team. The entire starting lineup shoot above 50% from 2-point percentage, but your best 2-point scorer is Josh Hart. 67% from twos. Mikal Bridges also shoots 62% from twos. So I don't really care about the points and stuff like that. They got to sustain it. On the defensive side, you know, like I said, we don't got nobody who averages a clean block. But we do got, you know, a couple of guys averaging over a steal, 1.5 steals for Josh Hart. Salute to Josh Hart, man. Josh Hart is, he's really stepped his game up. OG Anunoby, 1.4 steals. 1.1 steal from Bridges. They're more on-the-ball defenders, not really steals guys. So I'm not tripping off of that. But that's all I'm going to point out for the stats, right? When you compare it to the last 10. Let me move. I'm going to move a little faster. I do want to look at some advanced ratings. So this is per 100 possessions, offensive rating, defensive rating. This is the stat I'm using to track this year. So Karl-Anthony Towns, once again, is the best Knicks defender, defensive rating wise. Not saying he's the best Knicks defender on the team, but defensive rating wise, he's been the best. So this is for all the Karl-Anthony Towns people that say that Towns don't really play defense. The numbers are showing that he has been effective on defense. Now, is he a paint protector, intimidator? No, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not here to gas up. You know, this is the Objective Knicks fan channel. I'm not here to make it like something that it's not. But let me go to show you. Hold on. Where is it at? Yeah, right here. So this is the top defensive rating leaders in the league right now. As you can see, Karl-Anthony Towns is 17 on the list. He's 17 in defensive rating. SGA has the best defensive rating. Jalen Williams. Though, to me, Jalen Williams' rating is more impressive than Shai's because Shai at times does guard Jalen Brunson, but let's keep it real. Lou Dort gets that assignment. So the one drawback to defensive rating is the fact that it's not really based on, you know what, let me me come out of this browser. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I just got to come out of this browser because let me go to my ad-free browser. I don't want no ads popping up. Go to my ad-free browser. So Lou Dort gets the tough assignments on OKC. But the one thing defensive rating doesn't cover is your matchup. It doesn't tell you your matchup because some of these guys that may be top on their team, they're not guarding the tough assignments. Karl-Anthony Towns has been a center the entire year. He's been guarding the centers, no matter who it is, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Embiid, whether it's whoever. They don't protect Karl-Anthony Towns at the 5. Jalen Brunson does not guard the top guards on the opposing team. He doesn't. Josh Hart doesn't guard the top opposing guys on the opposing team. So when you look at Josh Hart, let me go back to Basketball Reference. When you go back to Josh Hart, his defensive rating is 112. Right? So you're like, oh man, Josh Hart, he has what, the second best rating in the lineup, but he's not guarding the level of competitors on the offensive side. Most of the time is Mikal. You see Mikal 117, and this is per 100 possessions, right? So his defensive rating might show different on a different metric. This is the metric I'm using. But Mikal Bridges is guarding the tougher assignments. That's why his defensive rating is not as high. So just keep that in mind. So when we look at these lists, what makes these guys impressive is based on the assignments. So Jalen Williams is guarding 4s. You know, Victor Wembanyama is Victor Wembanyama. Carson Wallace, he's guarding the toughest assignment too. He gets a lot of tough assignments. Sengun. No centers hide. You can't hide a center in the league. Centers guard the best center on the opposing team. Now, Amin Thompson does not necessarily guard the best player all the time because they do got Dylan Brooks. That's his assignment. But look at Lou Dort. So Lou Dort, 106. Lou Dort is probably the best defensive player in the league. He has a 106, and he guards the toughest assignments. You guys see what I'm saying? So when you see Karl-Anthony Towns on this list at 108, and he's the only Knick on the list, and he never gets hidden defensively, you got to give the big bodega credit. You got to give him credit. Is his defense at the rim the best? No, it's not. Is he a rim protector? No, he's not. Is he the best intimidator in basketball? No, he's not. But his defensive rating is solid. Why? Because one, he's a great defensive rebounder. Right? Another thing they're looking at, they got blocks here. It's a whole, okay, so I don't have it here. I wish I did do it. When you look at defensive rating, the reason why I take it seriously because blocks and steals are added to the defensive rating. So it's blocks, steals, plus minus stats like what the opposing team is doing when you're on the floor, right? You match doesn't, like I said, doesn't really account for the level of your matchup, but it does track your matchup. But it doesn't factor in that if you're guarding Josh Giddey, you know, he's not doing nothing on, you know, you're guarding a soft touch. It's easier to have a higher defensive rating when you're not guarding nobody, a la James Harden. See this James Harden at 109? He ain't guarding nobody. Nikola Jokic, 109. I'm giving him the credit because, no, I can't give him. I'm going to tell you the difference between Jokic and Towns, right? I'm going to tell you, I wanted to give him the credit, but then I thought about it. When Aaron Gordon is there, Aaron Gordon guards the tougher center. He guards the tougher matchup. Towns doesn't have that. They protect and hide Jokic when they can. Towns has to guard Jokic. He has to guard these guys. So Towns, you got to give him credit whether you like it or not. Now, Mikal Bridges, he has the worst defensive rating per 100 during this stretch. But I'm going to say this. He's guarding the toughest assignments. I'm not concerned about that. Mikal is still a good defender to me. I don't care about defensive rating because it doesn't account for his matchup. OG Anunoby, 114. That's all right. Not bad. Could be better. It should be like within like where Towns is, to be honest. But he's out. To me, they're both out of position defensively. That's just my take on that. I'm not going to touch offensive rating. I don't really care about offensive rating like that. I'm gonna also touch on this right here, some plus minus stats. Now, as you guys know, I don't care about most of these events. Like, yeah, shooting stuff is cool. You know, you get to see where they're shooting at. That's fine. We could go into that, but this is what I'm mostly concerned about because this tells me the bigger picture. When we talk about plus minus, you have two different types of plus minus that I'm gonna talk about today. You have the on court and then the on off. On court is like standard plus minus. You know, which how you rate. Okay, so plus minus is basically your rating based on the matchup you play against and how well your lineup is doing against the opposing team. That's all plus minus is, right? So yes, that's what the on court shows. However, on off court takes it a step further because it shows what your impact. It either shows your impact when you're off the court or how great you are on the court. There's a couple of things I want to show here. Now, I remember if you guys was on the last Knicks in 10 show when I jumped into the plus minus portion of the show, Josh Hart had a much lesser, more negative on-off plus minus, right? It was like, I'm going to show you better than I could tell you. So this is Josh Hart. All right, cool. So Josh Hart was a minus 2.1 last time we checked. Need this so I could put it on the screen. Josh Hart was minus 2.1, right? This time he's taking that. He's basically near zero. Now, on-off shows this. This is the basic way to look at on-off. If you have a high on-off, that shows that a high positive on-off. That shows that you're having a tremendous impact when you're on the court. However, the contrary to that is if you have like you see Tyler Kolek, if you have a negative on-off, that means that you're a detriment to your team. Now, I'm going to get to the bench guys in a second why their numbers are so bad. Let me stay with the rotation guys right quick. So Josh Hart improved that, but Josh Hart's on-court was always around a 7. That's why I never really cared about the on-off. Like typically, if your on-court is kind of high and your on-off is negative, you kind of disregard the on-off. That's just an advanced, tip I would give you, right? You kind of don't look at the on-off negative if the on-court is high, right? So Josh Hart is improving. Great. Mikal Bridges also improved. He was a 0 last time. Now he's a 3.2. OG Anunoby, I'm concerned about OG Anunoby because his play, right, even though he's still playing phenomenal defense, he has one of the better defensive opponents against him. I don't have that stat. I don't check that stat. But they say that when he's guarding opponents, they have a low field goal percentage. Fantastic, fine. I'm more concerned about plus minus. Why? Because plus minus tells me the big picture. Now, OG Anunoby is a plus minus guy. This is where he was the last time we checked. You see this? This is OG. He was 11 on court, and he improved it 2.5 points from when we last checked it before that. He also his on-off was 14.3. This guy was a plus minus god. OG's numbers has dipped. OG has gone from 11 to 8.7. OG has gone from a 14.3 on-off, which is the highest we've seen all year, to a 6.7. OG Anunoby is trending in the wrong way. I don't know. I'm gonna say that he's out of position defensively. I'm just gonna say that. But OG has had more impact on plus minus than we've seen. Now it's still positive. Don't make it seem like I'm writing him off for the year. But hey, this is what we do the Knicks in 10 show. I'm just showing you. I'm tracking plus minus, and this is a significant dip. He has been a plus minus god for real since he's been a Knick. I'm not sure what he did in Toronto, but as a Knick, he's been that dude for real. Now, Mikal, Josh Hart sort of improved on their numbers. Well, they at least improved on that on-off. Not really the on-court. Kind of the same. Everybody's on-court is really the same. Of course, Towns and Brunson, they're going to have a positive on-court. But however, Jalen Brunson has a minus on off. Jalen Brunson, when we last looked at Jalen Brunson, this is the last, he was a 2.2. Jalen Brunson has also dropped to minus 1.5. Now, I'm still going to kind of disregard it because he's still a 6.6 on court. So he's still doing his thing on court. It's just that it's not world beater level like we normally used to seeing from Brunson. You know, like, I'm not going to say world beater. I'm going to say positive. It's not positive. Like Brunson has been positive all year. He's finally dropped the negative. What does this mean about the captain? I do think the captain is battling injuries. Calf was, you know, of course, it's not on the injury report. Just because it's not on the injury report doesn't mean it's not bothering you. I'm thinking that the captain is still laboring through some stuff. You know, the shoulder, now add that to the list. You know, the captain, he plays the most physical on the team, and he's the smallest. He's taking charges. You know, he's diving to the basket, driving to the back. I mean, that's just how he's playing. But I am watching it. Like I said, he's still got a 6.6 on court. So you can't be like, you know, the numbers are not everything when you're not, especially when you're not looking at it in the right context. You have to look at these numbers in the right context. Everything else, I don't really want to talk about campaign. Look at campaign, though. Look at that, 9.5, 3.4. Campaign. Hopefully, Coach Tibbs is looking at this and saying, yeah, I need to get this guy campaign on the floor more. By the way, Deuce McBride has been solid with his plus minus. He's still a positive factor out there. Now, these bench guys, here's another thing. To all my bench, Tibbs needs to play the bench guys. This is for you, right? All these guys negative, Jacob Toppin, Matt Ryan, not really playing much, 13 games, 14 games, 12 games, not getting that much minutes, right? Look, 40 minutes played, 56 minutes played, 82 minutes. All these guys with the crazy minus negative, even Tyler Kolek with the crazy minus negative plus minus, is because they're playing in garbage time. Remember, these when you talk about plus minus, it also shows the lineup you're playing with and how well they're doing against the opposing team. For some reason, the bench does not do a good job against, you know, in garbage time against the opposing team benches. Thus the negative numbers. That's why when you see people talk about plus minus and advanced stats and they're not using it in context, it doesn't really tell the picture if you don't understand why it's a minus 33. You can't say, oh, yeah, Jacob Toppin doesn't deserve minutes because he's a minus 33. Like, that's just not. What you would do is, if you really want to do that, you go here, per 36. This is a stat I don't really utilize, but per 36 is for the bench guys. So look at the bench guys, right? Jacob Toppin per 36, 5.4 points, 8.1 rebounds. Matt Ryan, 16 points, right? This is per 36. Pacome Dadier, 8 and 5, right? This is what I would use to look at, oh, how would the bench guy, Tyler Kolek, 13.1 points, 4.7 assists. So if you want to look at some other advanced stats to show bench guys how productive they would be if they got more time, go to per 36, right? I don't really talk about per 36 like that because, one, we don't got time to talk about everything. Two, I don't really care about the bench guys. I'm more concerned about the guys that's playing. That's what we're tracking, who's in the lineup and what they're doing. But that's why their plus minus is low, just to give you guys context, okay? Let me see anything else I want to talk about. I do want to talk about grades. So we're going to give out some grades in a minute. So when I give out the grades, guys, if you want to give out grades, definitely give out grades too. Salute to everybody that's been rocking with me for the whole 2 hours. This is a stat-intensive show. I'm tracking a lot of stats. I'm telling you who's doing what. We're keeping track of where they are throughout the season. We're looking at drop-offs. We're trying to explain it and see if there is an explanation. Is it an injury, this, that, and the third? So, yeah, let me see. We don't care who the move is. The move, we're going to give it props. Case did smoke wild last night. Okay, Cade. Yeah, Cade was balling last night. That's what you're trying to say. That's who we are. Nice. The refs are suspect. The refs are definitely suspect. But like I said yesterday on the podcast, it's been like that across the board, though. It's not just against the Knicks. Everybody has moments with everybody besides the Lakers, because the Lakers get all the calls. Everybody besides the Lakers have had issues with the refs, to be fair. So I'm not going to put our struggles on the refs. We have to do better ourselves. We can't put the blame on the outside source. There's some good comments here. I can't read everything, but you guys are really doing good in the chat. Sam says, I like Hart at the one to give JB a rest because teams are picking up JB full court. Salute to Sam, man. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. You know what? Right? That's a major point that I said. Remember when I said, okay, in contrast to you guys wanting to bench Josh Hart, I said, hey, who are you going to take out the lineup, right? This is what he's doing. He's being a point guard when you need him to be a point guard. He's being a power forward when you need him to be a power forward. He could be a two guard. He's doing everything that you need from a utility guy, a key rotational piece. He can do everything. He has no weaknesses in his game. To put him on the bench will hurt your offense because he does a lot for this Knicks offense that may not show up in the stat sheet, like playing point guard, letting Brunson come off the ball. I love it because most of the time when Josh Hart's bringing up the ball, Brunson's coming off of two screens. And if Brunson's coming off of two screens, that's going to give him a easier opportunity to score. So, yes, I agree with that, Sam. Grades. Now, look, guys. This is a heavy stat-intensive show. I know that. I'm going to do some grades. And like I said, I don't pre-do my grades. I kind of want to go with the flow of the show. Even though I do have a grade in mind. I really do. But I kind of like save it for the show. So how you guys want to grade these guys? We can start with Mikal Bridges. What grade would you want to give to Mikal? Mikal, he's increased his plus minus on and off. However, his points did dip. He didn't get closer to the 20-point mark. And I was going to do a poll asking if Mikal is going to be does he deserve to be an all-star? I'm going to keep it real. Mikal Bridges does not deserve to be an all-star. I thought that in the summer he would pick it up in January. He still has time, I guess. But when do they do the selections? The late January? Like January the 24th? Maybe if he balls out the next 2 weeks. I mean, like really balls out. Maybe he can become an all-star. But right now, I don't think Mikal's an all-star. So, let me see. I do got the grade from last time. Somewhere. Hold on. Where's the grade from last time? Okay, cool. So last time I gave Mikal Bridges an A. Because he's an A, I'm gonna drop him to a B. I'm gonna give Mikal a B. I'm not gonna drop him to a B minus. I'm gonna drop him to a B. Josh Hart, last time I gave Josh a B plus. To me, Hart is an A. Damn near an A plus, man. Josh Hart is damn near A plus. This brother, he was a Knick of the week, balling, rebounding, defending, getting steals, doing everything this team needs. I'm giving Josh Hart an A. OG Anunoby, last time we gave him a B. His plus minus dropped tremendously. I mean, his plus minus damn near got cut in half. I'm going to have to give OG Anunoby, if I'm realistically going to be objective. If I gave him a B last time, I'm going to drop him to a C plus. So OG is going to be a C plus, y'all. I hate to do it because I normally don't really give C's that easily, but only because his plus minus dropped the way it did, and he's been the plus minus god, he needs to turn that back on. We're going to need the OG effect for the second half of the season. As far as JB, the captain, really deserving a Knick of the week, has had moments where he didn't show up where I thought that he should show up. Like the OKC game. Granted, it was a number one defense. You can't really hold that against him too much. The Magic game was rough. Really a rough watch. We went 6-4 during the stretch. He's the captain, so you got to give him more of the blame. Last time we gave Brunson what we gave him last time? We gave him a B. I'm gonna give Cap. I'm gonna give him a B minus. Give him a B minus. I have a higher standard for Cap. I mean, for Brunson, I know he probably has the second best stats on the team, but I have a higher standard for the Cap. He's the Cap. I'm not gonna drop him to a C. I'm gonna drop him to a B minus. Karl Anthony Towns. Last time we gave him an A minus. I mean, the brother, he's playing hurt, did miss a game. 25 and 14, lead and rebounder. I'm sorry, man. Towns, he's going to be an A. I'm gonna bump Towns up to an A. You know, he's been the model of consistency. Um, I'm gonna bump him up to an A. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? My bad, y'all. I had some more stats too. Oh my god, I had some more stats. I'm gonna finish the grade and I'm gonna run through some of these stats just so we could have it recorded on the record. But I'm gonna finish the grades off. As far as so we did the starting lineup. Okay, cool. I'm gonna only bench a couple of bench guys. I'm not gonna grade Precious. I feel like Precious doesn't get enough time. He did play 19 games. I'm not gonna grade Precious. As far as Deuce, Deuce, you know, he's dealing with some injuries. I did give him a B plus last time. I'm gonna drop Deuce down to a B minus. Just because he was hurt, and I think the injuries have a role to play for that. I don't think it's just him. I think he's playing hurt or he's not 100%. Campaign, I'm gonna give Campaign. I'm gonna actually grade Payne. I'm gonna give Campaign a B plus. He doesn't get much time, but what he's doing in his time, he's gonna get it. Now, real quickly, I do have some more stats. My bad. Let me get through this final stretch. I'm gonna do this quick. So we got the new thing, the Revenge Tour. We're currently 1-2. We lost to OKC and we lost to Chicago, but we did beat the Jazz. I'm glad we got them back. And when we dominate the rebounding matchup, we're 22-4, right? Of course, we had a more solid standing last time because, you know, we were like 19-1. I can't remember what it was, but either way, we dropped to 22-4. And we actually had 2 more losses when we dominated the rebounding matchup, which was between Chicago and OKC. Okay? When we get 30 or more assists, we're 15-1. Like we said earlier, passing the ball. But here's the more important stat, because 30 assists, you're not going to get that every night. It would be nice to average that, but I don't think that's a reality for this team. But we are 17-2 when we get more than our average, which is 27 assists. So if we get more than 27 assists, we're 17-2. I think that is the magic number. The Knicks need to get at least 27 assists a game. They get 27 assists, they usually win. When they shoot 40% when they shoot above 40% from 3, they're 15-2. Now that's hard to do, but they're 11-12 when they don't shoot the 3 ball well. The reason why is because teams are shooting as well as they do, or on the same level, or is it the same amount of. The teams are shooting 1 or more 3 than the Knicks, and they're shooting their best when they play against the Knicks. That's a recipe for disaster. Jalen Brunson, real quickly, and I'm gonna wrap up. Jalen Brunson, when he scores under 20 points, the Knicks are 8-1. You want to know something funny? Last year, when Jalen Brunson scored under 20 points, the Knicks were 8-3. So the Knicks have always shown when Brunson does less and other guys step up, they are still more than capable of winning the game. And a lot of times, the reason why they're 8-1 because it's a blowout. Jalen Brunson doesn't need to score. But there are other times where Jalen Brunson is dishing in and getting other guys involved. We've seen OG Anunoby have a 40-point game. We've seen Mikal Bridges have a 40-point game, and Towns did it multiple times. So when those guys are rolling, you know, it's no need for Jalen Brunson to score. When Jalen Brunson gets 9 or more assists, the team is 11-3, right? That's pretty solid. Oh, by the way, when Jalen Brunson also scores over 30 points, check this out. The Knicks are 7-5. I'm sorry, I'm running through it quickly. I just want to get these out so it's documented. Let me see. I do have the Karl-Anthony Towns stats somewhere. I had a stat. I think the Knicks were 11-4. I'm gonna check that and make sure I correct that if I'm wrong. But they were 11-4 when Karl-Anthony Towns scores 27 points or more. Of course, I think that number might have changed because didn't he score more than 27 last night? Still not sure how he scored last night, but yeah. So when Towns is rolling, we're rolling. But that's all. That's all the stats. I mean, that's all the stats I'm gonna give you. There's more. I could do this show for 4 hours. I don't want to make this that long because I want people to come back and watch this show. But thank you for watching the Knicks in 10. This is a stat-driven show where we track the progress of the Knicks. I mean, we did all types of individual stats. We did team stats, offense, defense. Rebounding, I didn't go over rebounding. Right now, rebounding, what makes us a solid rebounding team is that we are number 2 in the league in opponents rebounding. Number 2 in the league in opponents rebounding. I'll touch more on that the next time we do Knicks in 10, why that's important. But I want to check some of your grades and then say goodbye. So Sam gives Mikal a B, OG a B minus, Josh a A plus, JB a A, Cat an A. Okay, why JB? Okay, he gives JB an A. I guess I'm tougher on JB than everybody else. I did give JB. What did I give him? I gave him a B minus. So, so salute to you. Let me see if you any more. If you guys had grades, let me see if I could scroll up see if anybody's gave him grades. Okay, that's the only grades I see. Salute to Sam. So we only disagree really on Brunson. I just got higher standards for the Cat. I'm gonna keep it real. I just got high standards for the Cat. But yeah, Cat A. Yeah, everything else we agree. Josh Hart A plus, OG B minus. Yeah, I see why you say that. AP says Mikal. No, Knicks 100 says Mikal is getting ready signed. I guess you're trying to say he's getting ready to be signed. AP, because AP asked, do you think Mikal should be re-signed? I mean, if you listen, you got to re-sign Mikal. If you don't re-sign Mikal, then that means you're trading him. I'm just saying, like you can't do that. By the way, if you like the hats you've seen in the sidebar here, go to thisweekinsidethenix.com, discounted hats. But that's all for this show, man. I want to give a big time salute to everybody that joined. Salute the Nice. Let me see what he's saying on the way out. SGA thought I was watching UFC when he caught Brunson spinning. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I saw the spinning elbow, man. Did you see Tobias Harris last night beat up Jalen Brunson? I wonder if that's personal, man. I wonder if that, and Knicks will be champs. I see what you're saying. Yeah, we gave up six picks. But I want to give a big time salute to Knicks 100. Knicks will be champs. AP. It's my man Sam, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. I want to give a big salute to Nice. Joe Curry made an appearance. To everybody that watched this show, AP, Buzzer Beater, the list goes on, PD. Salute to everybody that tuned in for this show, man. New York City, salute to all of y'all. I do appreciate the support, and thank you guys. That's all for this show, man. I just like to do a nice little 10-game show so we can see where we are. I know people make a big deal of where we are in terms of, standing wise, or if we lose a game, people go off the deep end. But it's a body of work. One game cannot disregard the entire regular season's work. But that's all for this video, man. So until next time, let's go Knicks.